roasted butternut squash and Bramley apple soup, I've got a great recipe for you. One that's really seasonal with the best of all those wonderful healthy vegetables. Lots of flavourings and spices in it, and it's healthy, it's quick and easy to make, and with the help of my steaming hot water tap and my food waste disposal unit, it's really efficient because I'm going to have instant water and I'm going to get rid of all that food waste that you have whenever you're preparing vegetables and sitting around in your kitchen. Now, to make this soup, I'm just going to wrap the squash up in a little bit of foil into the oven and just leave that for about half an hour. While that's cooking, I'm going to get all these vegetables ready. And all these onions and the apples and the carrots, as I say, keep all the peelings because these will go down the food waste disposal unit so easily by just turning on the water, pressing the button, and they'll just disappear in a moment. Really quick and hygienic there as well. So peel all those together. And again, with the apples, you can take the cores out of the apples. They're great. You'll find your food waste disposal unit will take all those slightly more robust things that you're not sure whether you should use them or not. But yep, they'll go down there. Chop the onions up nice and coarsely. Same with the apples. Take the peelings off those and chop those up finely. And with the carrots, when you've got the skin off those, then just chop the carrots up into nice little chunks. There we are now, we're ready to get the butternut squash out of the oven. And can you see, look how that has just softened up. I think the easiest way to get the flesh out of these is just to chop it down through the middle. And look, you can see how nice and soft it is in here. Use your spoon to scoop out all those little seeds and then peel off all that peeling just round the outside. And even those robust little stalks that you have on the top of the butternut squash, they'll go into your food disposal unit as well. Then just scoop it out, chop it up, put all of this together into a roasting dish. And this is a great tip, no matter what soup you're making, should it be your seasons in tomato soup or your onion soup or whatever, roast all your vegetables first of all. You're going to get the best of the flavour out of them. So in we go with the butternut squash, the onions, the apples, the carrots, and look at this, lots of lovely flavours. We're going to make a soup without salt, so we're using lots of seasoning here. A couple of cloves of garlic, a little bit of mace, which is a lovely spice to use in soup. A little bit of ginger going in as well. And I'm using rosemary, one of those lovely herbs of the season. Don't forget to take off those little woody stems on the rosemary because they're quite tough. Again, the stems of the rosemary can go into your food disposal unit. And then just those fine little leaves of the rosemary. Scatter all of this over the top of the vegetables. I need some boiling water to make some stock. And this is where my steaming hot water tap is invaluable. Gives me water at up to 98 degrees centigrade. And look, just turn on your tap in an instant. No need to boil the kettle anymore. Your stock cube into your little jug and pour in the water. And look at that, it's dissolving right in front of your eyes. Just give it a little stir around and there you have stock at a moment's notice. Pour about half the stock over the top of all these vegetables. I'm just going to put a tiny little grinding of black pepper. Good sprinkling of oil over the top, a few little bits of butter over the top as well, and then cover all those vegetables with a little bit of foil, back into the oven, again 200 degrees centigrade, gas mark 6, and just leave those to roast if you can for anything up to an hour. This cooking as well worth the while because you're really going to intensify the flavour and get the goodness out of this. Now in the oven, can you just smell that? The steaming of all those lovely butternut squash and the apples together. And these have really softened down just in the stock that we had here. The final stage of making this soup is really straightforward. We're going to take all these vegetables, scoop them a little bit at a time into your blender if you want to use a hand blender, or if you want to put them into a food processor. You just want to whiz these all down because this is a pureed soup. In they all go, give it a good whiz. You can make the soup as smooth or as chunky as you want, then transfer that straight into the saucepan. Repeat that process until you've used up all the vegetables in your roasting dish. And then into the saucepan along with the remainder of the ingredients. The remainder of our stock from our steaming hot water tap. If you need to get extra stock, you don't have to hold yourself back. You can just turn on the tap and make a little bit more. As well as that, I'm going to add a little bit of apple juice to it because that's going to bring the flavour of the apples out in the soup. Everything going into the pot together and just leave it to simmer together nice and gently. You don't need to thicken the soup up with flour or anything else. Just the texture of all those vegetables will give you a lovely thickness with the soup. Leave it to simmer for about another 15 minutes, then just turn off the temperature and you're ready to serve. Just while the soup's simmering away, this is a great time for me to use my food waste disposal unit here. Just turn on the tap with cold water, just let it run for a moment or two first of all, and then all these peelings that I have here, the apple cores, the stalks from the butternut squash, the peelings of the apple, all of those will go into the unit. You say just lift all of these, just push them all down right into the unit, keep the water running, and you'll see they'll disappear there for you just literally in seconds. Whenever they've disappeared, just keep the tap running for a few more seconds at the end of that and then turn it off. And then back to the soup. Once the soup is ready and simmering, then we're ready to serve it up. I'm going to serve this one up with something that just adds a little bit of extra spice to it. Horseradish, another wonderful ingredient of this time of the year. You can use fresh horseradish and grate it down just like a parsnip, or you can use already conveniently made horseradish sauce. Blend it with a tiny little bit of yogurt, a little bit of black pepper over the top of it, and then garnish it with lots of fresh herbs. Now there's a great soup for you. Roasted butternut squash and Bramley apple soup. Great for lunchtime or any time of the day. Serve it up with nice crusty bread. You'll enjoy that one. Underneath the video you can find the recipe, ingredients and method on how to make this dish yourself.